Okay, I need to address all of you. People need to take a step back and actually see what's going on here. It's pretty crazy because I think even a regular normal person sees that we're having some serious problems in our country. Now, Matt Gaetz goes out there and addresses some of them, and he's attacked for it. I don't know if you people see, but anyone who goes against the establishment gets the Matt Gaetz treatment, gets the Donald Trump treatment, gets the Andrew Tate treatment, gets the treatment of Russell Brand. Don't you see the correlation? What they've done is managed to put out propaganda out there to make us fight with each other. See, I see that. I only argue or debate with the people who don't see that any longer. I don't give a damn about a political party. What I give a damn about is people who are actually going to go out there and fight for the American people. Now you can sit and say, oh, Matt Gaetz is this, Matt Gaetz is that. Fine. But come to the realization that nobody is fighting for the American people. And I'm going to show you this data that came out at the end of this video that supports that. That supports the fact that what's happening with our government is when most people vote, the things they vote for are never realized by the government. But the people who are in high places, the elites, the big companies, they get what they want from our government. So the question is to you is, why are you fighting with fellow Americans? Why don't you put that anger toward the people who are running this country and stop fighting with your fellow Americans over policy? Because none of the policy they do is geared toward the American people, and that's what you all fail to see. And that's what Matt Gaetz is addressing. Matt Gaetz is being vilified by the press, by the media, because they all work for the government, and the government is vilifying him because he's fighting for the American people. You could sit here and say what you want, but look what he did. Listen to his words. Don't listen to pundits on TV. Don't listen to political theater. Listen to his words. See what he did and address that. Stop listening to these people that hate America, that hate regular Americans, and only support the status quo. Our country is failing. Don't you see that? We have to do something differently. This is why they go after the people who are going up against the government, that exposing them for the corruption they have. It's funny because I always see people saying, oh, politicians are liars. Politicians are corrupt. Yet you sit here and fight for the same thing that's going on instead of trying to get something different. What Matt Gaetz did is something different because he sees what's happening to his country. Why is it that someone can't love their country and be in office without getting attacked? If none of their decisions are going to fight for the people and only for the elites, don't you see that? Don't you see the problem? Instead, I point out what Matt Gaetz did, and I get attacked the same way. Calling me brainwashed, calling me I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Listen to what Matt Gaetz says and tell me what it says is wrong, and then we'll talk about it after the video. Listen to this.
Time for that discussion would have been over the last several weeks, but instead we saw the speaker continuing the speaker did not just fail to remediate the breach of the agreement that he made with us in January, he accelerated the instances of breach. Like, after I laid out the breach, he went and violated the 72-hour rule. After I laid out the breach, he violated the $100 million no amendment suspension rule. So he seems to be reverting to the...
Listen to what he said. He came to an agreement. They came to an agreement to allow McCarthy to be the Speaker of the House. So Speaker McCarthy agreed to these terms. He wasn't living by these terms, and these terms were supposed to benefit the American people. So Matt Gaetz challenged him on it. Matt Gaetz called him out on it, and Matt Gaetz had him removed. Yet Matt Gaetz is being attacked because he wants him to stand by the agreement, and we all sit here and we all complain about politicians never doing what they say, yet Matt Gaetz is holding McCarthy's feet to the fire, and so many are mad at him. This is why you see even Fox News attacking him, because they're all part of the problem. They're all part of corporate media. They all work for the government. They all have an agenda that doesn't include us.
Very unfortunate muscle memory of Washington, D.C. that has put our nation atop a $33 trillion debt that has led to $2 trillion annual deficits in our near future, and the rapid global de-dollarization of the economy. When you look at the BRICS system, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're moving away from the dollar. And just...
Do you see that? Countries are moving away from the dollar. Matt Gaetz is fighting against that. And what are the people in Washington doing? They just keep printing more money. How do you expect to find that long-term viability to withstand new monetary money that's going on across the world to fight the dollar? How do you expect that to survive?
In August, they added 6 new countries, including G20 economies in the Western Hemisphere and Gulf monarchies. Moreover, you saw U.S. News say that the #1 economic trend of 2023 is de-dollarization.
The reason why many countries are moving away from the dollar is, one, is because the constant printing of money. 2 is we use that money to bully countries into doing what we want them to do. That's exactly what they're doing to us. If we don't do what they want us to do, they go after our bank accounts. They send IRS after you. They send the FBI after you. They remove you from social media platforms. They label you a conspiracy theorist. Don't you see that? Even other countries see it. Yet here in America, we're still fighting amongst each other. I don't give a shit about the Republican Party. I don't care about the Democrat Party. What I care about is people who are willing to step up to the plate and fight for us, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. I don't see any Democrats fighting for the people. What the Democrats do is they throw you a bone. They give you a holiday. They give you a 30-day holiday like for Black America, but yet they let you and they let your neighborhoods go down the drain and try to tell you that they're not racist, that the Republicans are racist because they throw you a bone like a holiday. They throw you a bone if you're gay or if you're a transgender person and say, here, you can do this. But what are they doing for you really? What are they doing for you really? They're doing nothing other than have you fight your neighbor because they want you to think your neighbor hates you because of your sexual orientation, which isn't true. They might not agree with you, doesn't mean they hate you, because if you don't tell people you're gay, most likely they're not going to know you're gay anyway. You get what I'm saying? This is what you have to start seeing through the facade.
Globally, this worries me. You all get all worked up that there's going to be some uncomfortable, chaotic moment, that I'll feel pressure from conservatives or Democrats or whomever. I feel the judgment of history. I feel the weight of that. I worry that when the history books are written about this country going down, that my name is going to be on the board of directors here. And if this country's going down, and if we're losing the dollar, I am going down fighting. And I don't care if that means fighting Republicans, Democrats, the Uniparty, the leadership, the PACs, the lobbyists. I've had it. I've been here 7 years. We don't have a budget. We haven't had one since the mid-90s. I am through with it. I apologize for using that word, but the only path forward here is to have single subject spending bills that can be reviewed, amended, considered. And
I'm going to put the rest of this link in the description. But you see, he says all that, and you know what these reporters will come out and say this? That Matt Gaetz cursed. They don't want you to hear his message. They want you to hear he said a bad word. That's what they'll get out of this. And this is what you have to start understanding. What Matt Gaetz has done is patriotic. He's fighting for we the people. You may not agree with what he does or what he has done in the past or what he says sometimes, but this right here is a stab in the heart of the establishment, and this is why they're going after him. Wake up and see what's happening, people. Stop listening to TV pundits because they're lying to you, man. They really are. Now I'm going to show you that study I was talking about. Why does the study look at what top 10% wealthiest Americans want rather than what billionaires want? In other words, this whole study, I'm also going to put in the link so you can read it yourself. Basically, what's happening is this study shows that the politicians in America don't give the electoral The study is showing that the people in Washington only appear to satisfy the whims of the elites and the people with more money. I'm going to show you this right here. Specifically, if fewer than 20% of wealthy Americans supported a policy change, it only happened about 18% of the time. But when 80% of them were in support of the change, it ended up happening 45% of the time, which is almost 50% of the time. There is no similar effect for average Americans. Check this out. When authors look at the preferences of average citizens, it appears they do have an effect on policy change. But when they add the preferences of economic elites and interest groups to the analysis, the impact of average citizens vanishes entirely. Basically, average citizens only get what they want if economic elites or interest groups also want it. Do you get that? When average Americans go up against the elites in a policy preference, the elites win almost every time, if not every time. And that's what you have to start realizing. And that's why Matt Gaetz did what he did. Because if you look at all the stuff that McCarthy was approving, all benefited the top, the elites, the rich, the higher earning Americans, the people who want the illegal immigration, who want the printing of money, the people who want businesses to control everything. And that's exactly what Matt Gaetz was talking about. That's what you have to start seeing. Stop listening to these pundits. All these people on the news, they work for the government. And of course, the politicians work for the government. Well, people will say things like, well, the Republicans are mad at him because most Republicans that are in power have no balls. They're scared to go up against the establishment because look what happens when you do. Many people are happy in their position. They're happy making their money, whatever. And this is true of politicians. And they rather not rattle the boat. Most people will not rattle the boat because they want to be a part of something. When you have people like Donald J. Trump, people like Matt Gaetz, people like Russell Brand, people like all these other people that are being attacked by the government, the establishment, they have heart to expose what's happening and then they come after them. So why would you, if you're on a panel, and this is true of the Republicans I'm talking about, why would they come out like Matt Gaetz and be ostracized like he is? Why would they go and potentially have the FBI investigate them, potentially have the CIA start to monitor their devices? Why would they do that? It takes a special person to actually stand up and fight against the establishment, and not everybody's special. And that's why you have to give Matt Gaetz his props, because what he's done brings all the attention to him. He could have happily just been like, you know what, I'm going to stay quiet, let them continue to rampage through the country, destroy our country, and I'll do nothing. But he didn't. And that's why you have to give Matt Gaetz props. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.